Man, imposter syndrome, you might be right. I might not be worth that. You must know it. You must recognize it. What the imposter syndrome is. What is going on, people? This is Dorian from Positive Stoic, and welcome back to yet another video. Today, we'll be talking about a topic so wide, yet so important that it might just change your life. It might just change your life. Now, what that topic is, you might be asking, you've probably read it in the title. You're like, yeah, we've read it in the title, Dorian. Keep on going. All right, I'll get to it. Don't worry about it. Now, the topic is obviously a question of how to make the imposter syndrome your BITCH. How to make the imposter syndrome your queen. Make it stand beside you rather than in front of you. Now, there's two things that one needs to do to overcome the imposter syndrome. The first thing is understanding what the imposter syndrome is. Well, let me tell you what the imposter syndrome is. The imposter syndrome is an outdated software inside your brain that stops you from going into dangerous situations. It stops you from going further than you maybe want to or need to. So there's a goal that you have in mind, right? It's very far ahead, right? And then you're like, hey man, I want this goal so bad. But then the imposter syndrome comes in and says, hey bro, you're gonna get in so much trouble before you even come there. Believe me, or really ask yourself, is the goal even worth it? Is the goal worth the trouble? And then you're like, man, imposter syndrome, you might be right. I might not be worth that. I might not be worth the goal, man. I just might need to, take a step back and just reevaluate my situation. And be like, yo, I'm okay where I am right now. I don't need to chase my goals because the goals will require me to do things and it will be uncomfortable and it'd be painful. Now, is that what you want? Is that what you want the imposter syndrome to do to you, man? To do to your goals? Be like, yo, you ain't gonna do this because of this, and that. And why the imposter syndrome is there is actually fairly logical and fairly good. Now, the imposter syndrome is a software that was useful back in the day when we were hunting gazelles with bow and arrows. Because back then you were like, yo, there might be this gazelle that's in my forest, but there might be zebras that's in another forest. But I need to go further down. But further down, there might be lions, bro. And even though the meat is so much more, the lion is so much more as well. So the imposter syndrome prevented you from going out there in the other forest to catch that zebra. Because it was like, yo, slow down, bro. You might get eaten by a lion, but nowadays it's no more. It's useless. The second thing you must do to overcome the imposter syndrome after you've understood what it is, which is an outdated software system that's not useful anymore because you're not going to get hit or eaten by a lion, is you have to work your way through it a few times. Now, you've done the first. If you understood that it's there, it's a software system, that it's there, that it's outdated. The second thing you must do is you must work your way through it a good few times. You must feel it, you must know it, you must recognize it, and you must go through it a good few times. And once you've gone through it a good few times, you know what will happen? You'll become desensitized to it. So the next time you go through it, it'll be like a walk in the park. You'll forget the imposter syndrome is there. The imposter syndrome will be like, yo, please, hey, yo, listen to me, man. You don't want to do this because of this, and that. You'll be like, no. I'm good, bro. Thank you for your advice. I appreciate it. But I must go on in my goals. I must get on with what I want to do. I don't need you anymore. I understand why you're there, but I don't need you anymore. And so you do through it a few times, and then it's like, I'm walking the park. It's as easy as I'm walking it. It's as easy as a walk in the park. Now, those are the only two things that you must do to deal with this particular issue, to deal with the imposter syndrome. Understand what it is and work your way through it a few times so that it becomes easy after a certain point. Those are the only two things that you need to do. Imposter syndrome is not that complicated. He's not that big a deal. All right.